Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews. We're going to be talking Underworld Awakening, but before we do, I do got this big boy that I have got to unbox. And yes, I have already cut it open. Yes, I have already opened it. So it could speed things along. But basically, I didn't get Jason Momoa, sadly. I know Mads would have loved that, but I did get his trident, and well, I'm gonna have to unplug my head, or I'm gonna have to get off my headphones. So basically, folks, this bad boy is big. I did get Aquaman's trident. This sucker is basically, 72 inches long. A little. I'm pretty sure that lethal, and that's okay. Because if you do go to noblecollection.com, you can pick this sucker up for $59 American dollars. Plus shipping and handling. I don't know about that. But yes, this puppy it's hard plastic, but it is a licensed replica. It's officially licensed replica. And it's got some heft to it. It's not meant for hard swinging or anything like that. This is actually just meant for collection, meant to put on a wall or someplace, and it's a collector's item. So as much as I'd love to just stab y'all just to give thanks and whatnot, I can't. I mean, this actually does have some pretty hard and sharp tips here, but the for a replica, and even as a plastic replica, they actually really did do a good job getting all the nicks and all the markings on the trident. I mean, yeah, they could have touched up a little paint here, but for a Noble Collection prop, this actually is well done. And I am going to get this box out of the way. Give you guys an idea of how well this is put together. And I'm actually going to unscrew the top of the trident first. I just thought it was just a big fork. And 24/7 is joining us. Let me just get him on screen here. Can't hear you, buddy, but because I got my headphones out.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, welcome 24.
Oh, man. Oh.
So let me put this part down. So yes, this is Aquaman's trident. The other part is over there. But look at the detail. That looks very
familiar. That looks nice.
The nicks, like right here, even down on the handle area here, you can possibly see the nicks and whatnot. This is, even in hard plastic, this is extremely richly crafted and detailed. They put all the little flaws and nicks into this trident. And I actually got to say, for the most part, from Noble Collection, this is actually even though it's just a hard plastic, I think that it is still a well done replica. And like I said, if you're in America, this is $59 American dollars. I don't know the currency exchange for Australia, I think. But yes, they do excellent jobs. And even down here, I mean, it doesn't look like much. I mean, actually, some people would say that it looks very flawed down here on the bottom of the trident. But believe it or not, if even looking at the movie, that is exactly what the bottom of the trident looks like. It doesn't look like it's been half-assed. Or it's intentionally looking like this. It was not made to be a perfect arrow kind of thing. So yes, I spoiled myself. I am basically Jason Momoa. I'm not going to tell you to eat your heart out because I just don't dare say that to somebody who could possibly pick me up and throw me into the middle of the ocean. But yeah, definitely this is something that was worth getting. I'm very proud of this. Like I said, it's not for swinging around or anything because if you do swing it, you can feel a little wobble in there. This is not a toy. This is a collector's item. And yeah, you can actually poke a person's eye out. And maybe a sixth from the back end. But yes, I really do like this item. It is definitely one that I truly do give a high score. Objective quality, I would give this a 9 out of 10. I really do wish they would have done like an actual metal trident. But then again, that would have probably been like $300, give or take. And I wouldn't have been able to get it. But this one is still very cool. I got a new toy today, too. I bet you do, Santa Megatron. I bet you do. But yes, this is my new trident, or pentadent, 5-dent. It's Aquaman's mother's fucking fork. There you go. Anyway, that is the exclusive unboxing. Hopefully anybody who missed it can catch it in the replay. I will show it off throughout or possibly throughout the night. But yes, I really do enjoy that or getting that because you know what? Sometimes you just do got to spoil yourself. So 24/7, good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
G-Fan, Mads, awesome to have you guys here. Are we ready to talk about Underworld?
Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it.
So yeah, here has not seen it. And that is 24. Now that I can get you all close up and whatnot, let's get into this. So basically, this takes place after Underworld Evolution, not Underworld Rise of the Lycans, because Rise of the Lycans was more of a prequel instead of a sequel.
Right.
So this one, because Corvinus is no longer around to clean up the mess between the Lycans and the vampires, the war has spilled out into the public and is now no longer being cleaned up. So they're out. They've been outed. Now, I do kind of have a theory or an alternate theory. I'm thinking that if Corvinus ever realized he was going to die or might be killed, I'm thinking that he would have had knowledge or information bled out to the public. I'm thinking that he would have orchestrated it so that it would have been out, so that because he does refer to him and his sons as oddities of nature. This is a world for humanity that prove of the existence of vampires and Lycans, or immortals for that matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the beginning, it starts with a news report where they're talking about species that were once thought to be myth. Vampires and werewolves now exist, and they just are going. It's a purge. It is basically a mass cleansing, as they say in the movie. You see footage of kids getting sprayed with silver spray, and one girl is a werewolf. She gets sprayed in the face with silver, and you see her face shift out in a digital Lycan. You see another kid being pulled out into the sun, screaming. He's burning up in the sunlight because he's a vampire. You see one of the main characters, Stephen Ray from V for Vendetta, he's he's giving a report about the infections and how barricades and stations are set up to screen if you are infected by any of these viruses, lycanthropic or vampire virus. And governments all over the world are declaring martial law. How did the governments get their hands on silver nitrate and UV rounds? I don't know.
Right.
But basically, the world is fighting against vampires and werewolves. It's the collective enemy that humans have united to kill. It is basically the apocalypse for vampires and werewolves. And Selene does give a recap of the first 3 movies and how she retaliated, killed the elders. She didn't exactly kill Amelia. Amelia was killed by the Lycans. But yeah, there are slight inconsistencies in this movie. Now, there is one character who is a vampire in the whole beginning part that is hissing at a person, then jumps on the wall, hisses, and jumps out of screen. That is actually Kate Beckinsale's stunt double throughout the series, which is pretty cool to see her close up and whatnot.
Right.
But Mads and G-Fan, I know you have seen this part or this movie. 24 hasn't. What did you guys think of this or of the mass cleansing scene?
That was just really messed up to watch. I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. You go first, and then I'll speak.
No, it's just, I hate to steal a line from the first movie, but I have to agree. How did they get their rounds on that? I mean, they had difficulty struggling with the idea of Lycans making UV rounds. People? Come on. But, yeah, just...
Yeah.
Nowadays, it would probably, wind up with signs like Lycan Lives Matter or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
See,
Vampire Lives Matter! Lycan Lives Matter!
As far as the beginning part of the movie, yeah, I think they on purpose wanted to show, especially children, being, essentially massacred too as well. Yeah, it was a very poignant point and in the very beginning. Now, the way I took it though is, I understand, like you said, it's Corvinus, gone. He can't clean up the mess, and now word has spread out that these creatures that we thought were myth are real. And I believe, and I honestly believe that the way the world reacts is actually realistic. Just from seeing how the world is, just with virus that's going on now, I honestly can believe this completely. That's how the world would react. But that being said, can we truly call this Underworld still? Because it's no longer an underground war. It's now out and about. That was always my with this movie,
And then they actually show the Purge team closing in on Selene. And there's this excellent scene that just basically shows the scariness of how... I'm hearing myself. Anyway, that shows just how powerful Selene is, because you only get like a glimpse of her, and then it pans away, and then right back to where she was standing. She's gone. She's out. Or it's like, there she is. Gone. It's something seriously out of a freaking horror movie. That's how scary it was. It's like, oh shit, they found Selene. They're dead. Everyone in that room is dead. If they're trying to kill her. And she slaughters them. She does. This movie, there's another reviewer I watched. His big gripe about this was Selene is going full out killing everyone. She is just brutalizing every dealer. But you got to also understand she's being hunted. Right. So, yeah, I can understand heroin, but now she's just going full on brutally slaughtering humans. I mean, she pushes a freaking gun through a dude's chest. She then uses his head as a kickoff to go down into an alley and crushes the dude's head, blood splattering and everything. She's killing humans she folds a dude in half. She literally folds a dude like Jason Voorhees in Freddy versus Jason. It's like, shit. I mean, she's just not giving any fucks. And it's beautiful to see. Now, this was some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. And after closer inspection of this scene where Michael is at the docks, it's not Scott Speedman that is the actor playing him. It was definite digital face replacement. But thank you for those who are just joining. In case you missed it, I got Aquaman's Trident. That was the unboxing that I did.
Yeah, he's going to whip that out every couple minutes just to show it off.
Yeah, every couple minutes he's going to show it off.
Yeah, I gotta show off my new just in case it's lethal.
Speaking on behalf of thirsty girls everywhere, if anyone had a Jason Momoa's toy, we would be showing it off too.
Yeah. So she's heading towards the docks. Michael's at the docks, and these guys all are already at the docks waiting for her. It's like, we got the hybrid in sight, and they know that he's a hybrid, which is weird, but okay. So when they start firing weird fake Michael, which I call him in this because he just does not look like Michael. It's not Scott Speedman.
Does he act like Michael?
He just starts working it. Huh?
Does he act like Michael?
In a sense, yes. But we're about to get into why I call him fake Michael, because Michael does not play a part in this movie. Only in the beginning, and then you see him at the end. That's it. So he starts ripping his clothes off to transform. It's like, why are you ripping your clothes off? Why couldn't you just stay clothed to transform? I mean, seriously, man. And
let us enjoy it.
It's just weird. Yeah, the women. It had to be for the women.
Obviously, I mean, Reyes did it in the first movie, so yeah, we just. Yeah. It's canon. It's canon.
Yeah, it's canon. So he rips it off. He's getting transformed, and he's just standing there when they fire a silver grenade. He's just, and then he reacts just before the damn thing hits him. It's this movie, objectively, folks, without bias, this movie is not good. Subjectively, I freaking love this movie. So yes, as I said in my brief review, bad objective, good subjective. I really like this movie subjectively, even though it is bad objectively. So he just takes it and they falls into the water because they're at a pier. They're trying to escape. They're going to go to America, I guess. I don't know. Who knows where they're going. But anyway, she dives in after him. And then the shooter government people grab a sunlight grenade, throw it on in there. She catches up to him. He's still bleeding from that massive grenade he has in his chest, but it reverted him back to his human form. So I'm guessing silver does affect him a little bit. I mean, if enough silver is pumped into him, I'm willing to bet it can arrest the change.
Right.
I'm always naked when I shut up, man. Sam Megatron. He's always naked when he transforms. Yeah. But I got a very big truck going by. Sorry about that, folks. So, yes, then the grenade blows them apart, and you see stuff freezing, or you see the water freezing, and you hear, "I want them both, or I want both bodies retrieved." And after the freezing stuff happens, you then hear "Subject 2 has escaped," and it's a huge commotion. You see Selene frozen, and you see that she is, or you then get a close up of her eye, like you're seeing through somebody's eyes. A person breathing rapidly, finding her, pushing a button to thaw her out. So when her eyes pop open, you then see you see somebody that's there, but you can't really see him closely because the glass is frozen over, and somebody is basically trying to get out and whatnot. It's very confusing at first, but basically we don't know what's going on. She's basically having to put all of this together. So yeah, so she's awake and she needs to get out. So she starts headbutting the glass, and she eventually breaks out. She's bare ass naked. So every guy in that movie theater was very focused. I'm telling you, I've never seen so much focus when I saw that movie in theaters. Every guy's eyes were basically this far out of their heads, like feet out of their head, not inches. And they were just looking for a titty shot or a cooch or a twat shot or anything like that. But you know what? They did a wonderful job putting in the mist of the coldness perfectly to cover up for Kate Beckinsale. She has a nudity clause that you're not allowed to see anything. So
was
it's
that
like,
really her body double for that scene, though?
No, that was not a body double.
Oh, that was really her?
Yep, that was really her. Just like the sex scene in Evolution with the digital willy removal on Scott Speedman. It's like, dude, they digitally unmanned you. That's gotta hurt. But anyway, so she's in a lot of pain. I mean, if anybody comes out of cryo, I can't honestly speak of the experience, but you see her clenching her fingers, trying to get feeling into them, really. And she then sees her, what do they call that thing? A corset? And her boots. So you see her corset and her boots off in the distance, and you see Stephen Fry, the guy that was talking about the infections at the roadblocks barricades, and it's like subject 2 is escape, or subject 1 is, or subject 1 is got broken out of containment. Subject 2 is on the move, and he sees her walking around after she just got her normal getup on, the latex and the boots and everything, and she's trying to hack the panel, and he's like, put her back to sleep. They wanted to flash burn her, but he's like, no, wait, put her, and then he's like, put it back to sleep. Really cold motherfucker. But so they just start unloading a lot of gas of fentanyl in the scene to try to knock her out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, using that much fentanyl, it would probably start to affect her. And it does start to affect her. And then she sees the people looking up at her. She just jumps through the damn ceiling and comes up. She's like, what is this place? Where's Michael? So a dude stabs her with a scalpel. And she's like, really, bitch? Really? Doesn't say that really, but she grabs the dude's arm and just brings his bone or his elbow like right through his damn arm And it's like, ah, that's gotta hurt. I know it hurt me just looking at it. And believe me, that hurt. So she sees that, or she gets a gun, and you see the guy from the first Ghost Rider movie. I can't remember his name to save the life of me, but he played Darkheart or Blackheart.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's that actor. And I've heard that he will not take a role in which he is a minor part, but apparently he did for this one because his character is a very minor character. And so his character sees her and she's ready to escape. And he's like, I see her, she's in the corner. And he's like, no, let her go. She can lead us to subject 2. So they let Selene escape. Now, she has vampire hearing. She can hear all this stuff. And you see the 2 guards, and he's like, no, let her go. And so she jumps out and whatnot. And then she's on the truck. She looks back, sees the name Antigen on the building. And the guy driving the truck sees her dangling. So he waits for her to get up onto the roof and then hits the brakes. She falls down. He gets out of the car, and they're giving an advisory if you see them, extreme caution and whatnot. He walks right up to her and just shoots her in the freaking head. And she's like, ow! And then she turns around and just grabs the dude, spins him around, bites his neck, and so she can get blood. It's like hot. Really hot. And she just drops him and just walks right off. So that's basically for 24/7, because I am going to iterate a lot of the movie as much as I can so you can get an idea of this. G-Fan and Mads, what did you think of The Escape and Thaw?
Go ahead, G.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a well done sequence. The only thing I kind of had a bit of an issue was at the end part where he kind of waits for her to get up on top, slams on the brake, and then walks right up and shoots her. It's like it's like if you know how dangerous vampires are, and especially death dealer like Selene, it's like it just didn't really jive well. Other than that, I mean, the sequence was well done. Again, objectively, I agree with you. Orange. It's not as great of a movie, but subjectively, it's pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a few minutes, so I got to do the show off a little bit. I give it every 7 minutes. Every 7 minutes, I will just, casually just let this go into shot of my camera.
Hello, my sweet samurai. I see you in there.
So, yeah, I have Jason Momoa's fork.
Trident.
But hey, it was also Nicole Kidman's. So
True. Now, when it comes to the
how you doing,
escapes,
Black Samurai 76? Good to see you.
mm-hmm. My McDonald's.
So, what
when
did
it
you
comes-
think, Mads, of the Thaw Out and Escape?
I'm willing to bet this first comment is probably going to give you a very big yes, because you probably have the same irritation with it that I did. Where did she get the jumpsuit from? We saw the boots and the corset. I'm like, they only showed that part. I'm like, okay, she's
You're not
running
echoing.
around with just the corset on. But no, the rest of it, that was really cool. I mean, especially her seeing through somebody else's eyes. That was something we hadn't seen before.
And it's like, oops, corset.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Soul Assassin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Orange hat has an orange trident. Fork Knight, grow a beard orange. I'm working on it, man. I trimmed it. I trimmed this early, or I trimmed this during the summer. So I'm gonna let it grow out during the winter. I'm gonna let it get bushier. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, also, I do actually want to pause on this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, Hollywood did lose another actor that I am very familiar with, Tiny Lister.
Sounds familiar.
He was a great freaking actor. I believe he was actually considered for the Green Mile if Michael Clark Duncan did not take the role.
Okay.
He would have been considered for John Coffey. Tiny Lister played in movies like The Fifth Element, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He was the
Okay, I know
inmate
who you're talking about.
that took the explosive trigger and just threw it out the window.
Oh, him.
Yeah,
He
okay.
played
Really? He passed
in
away?
Fifth Element as the president.
Oh.
Yeah. He's,
This
Debo.
guy was a great actor in many great parts. He was also in Universal Soldier. He had a lot of great roles. Yes, he has died, sadly.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this guy was a true legend, and yeah. Orange versus Odin, the ultimate beard off. I'd lose. I have never had my beard down to here, man. I've never had my beard down to here, Soul Assassin. Really, it stays close to the face. That's my kind of beard because I do got a neck. I would love to do that as a versus series, but let's be real here. I would not win that at all. And if I'm going to be in a versus stream, I'm going to want to be the one that wins that. So yes, back to the thingy. Rip Tiny Lister, you will be missed,
Mm-hmm.
and thank you for being a part of many of our lives in the many movies that we have seen. Now back to the Underworld stream. So she's now broken into a armory shop, like a gun store, and a kind of like a really small, compact Walmart, so to speak. And she grabs an orange. Jesus, thank you, Soul Assassin. But anyway, she grabs a gray trench coat, kind of like a sweat kind of trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
Different than her normal black leathery get up, but it's still trench style. So yeah, it's part of her kind of get up. But anyway, she then passes by the armory area. Real vampire teeth, real Lycan teeth. She's seeing their teeth, fangs being sold, and a bunch of silver munitions and whatnot. It's like, why don't you just throw a cross in there for good measure? I mean, Jesus. But yeah, you see that this has been something that she's slowly putting together. She's catching up on, and after she gets a coat, is the pier where she remembers the last place where she was.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gate there now. She's like, and she starts walking in, and a guard stops her. He's like, the pier's closed. How'd you get in there anyway? She's like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's been closed? It's been closed for years, or for a long time. How long? About 12 years, or how long it's been since she has been frozen. I mean, to her, a day has passed, but in reality, it's 12 years.
Mm.
And So she's putting it together, and then the cops' radio goes off that there's been a possible non-human attack under a bridge. And she hears about it. She disappears, and the guy's like, "Hey, where'd you go? Where'd you go?" And whatnot, looking for her.
Mm.
And yeah.
Wow, got right. You know what? I completely agree, Soul Assassin. When a hot vampire asks you questions, you answer the questions.
That's true.
Appreciate that, Soul Assassin. Thank you.
Absolutely. Soul Assassin is a fantastic mod, much better than I'm doing right now. I will own that. That's why I'm quiet.
I got you.
Kind of all hands on deck right now at Abu Nas's. Though I'm sure when Orange comes back, he's going to show us off the Trident again.
Oh yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah. Which version?
I mean, he's only showing us Aquaman's, Trident. If he's got anything else, just saying.
Yeah, we're not trying to see that other Triton.
Speak for yourself, Poppy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you guys love me.
Oh my goodness.
So you were Megatron. You were a hot vampire in October. Oh. What happened to November?
Megatron was stunning and brave in November.
Ah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If I've got the right account.
Yeah. I think you probably do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you're back.
Hi, I'm back, and it's yeah. Sorry about that. I
No worries.
had to step up for my employment.
Called it.
We know it. We
care
know it.
for handicapped people, so I had to check out what was going on. But anyway, it's been 7 minutes, actually over 7 minutes. So if you're watching Lethal, this is what I got. I got Aquaman's Trident. I stole it from Jason Momoa. I'm going to text him to see, or I'm going to check not Facebook, but Twitter to see if he's jealous yet.
Yeah.
So, have you guys been keeping him up to speed and going over what you guys liked?
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah.
What?
No,
I don't think Lethal has
we were
seen,
interacting with
but
them.
I'm pretty sure Mary Jade saw.
Went back to being stunning and brave. And
Thank you for keeping them. Orange had to raise the tide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went back to being stunning and brave. I'm debating on my name for February.
You
Groundhog
can do the best,
Megatron.
Yeah, you can do the bestest ever Megatron.
Oh.
Yeah. But if you do Groundhog, You got to give your your
So,
profile pics a buck teeth, man. How is it
I don't know. I would
Trident
play on
when
the I would play on the Valentine's thing.
we lost you, fan? Godzilla, come back!
Oh wow.
Here, I'll give you my trident.
Hail Jade Shadow.
Yeah, Jay Shadow. What's up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Play on the Valentine's too. I like Kate Beckinsale. That's all I got to say. So yeah, I do too. Soul Assassin. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like Kate Beckinsale, man?
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah, she was good in Pirates.
Hell,
Yeah.
how you doing? I've been lurking, finishing watching Die Hard. You know what?
Good
After
Christmas movie.
Yeah, great Christmas movie. Yeah.
the next series of streams, Die Hard, which is the Rambo series. Die Hard's next. But yeah, I'm doing it. It hasn't. Yes, it is. It hasn't been 7 minutes, but yeah. Mara, if you can get Lethal to so I can show this bad boy off to him. But yes, back to the review or discussion. So we then get to the under the bridge. She's seeing through the eyes as she's getting closer to the bridge. There's this dude that's just shredded. Like you're seeing the raw meat. And you're hearing the rapid breathing, and you see a bunch of cops like, "Hey, who are you? Identify yourself!" And then the person runs off, and she gets there, or Selene is watching from afar, and then I cannot remember the damn actor's name. I'm gonna look it up, but it's a detective and his junior partner. And they're like, we definitely got to call the CDC. And he's like, the guy's shredded. His when was the last time you heard about a reported Lycan killing? 2 years ago? And how many years have you been lay? And question me less until you know more. And that's a fair rule. I mean, Underworld Awakening cast. I'm so happy that my phone is smart. Alrighty. Theo, you have not aged well. Okay, good. Michael Ealy, that's his name. Detective Sebastian. So he's also a good actor. He's been in a pretty cool amount of movies and whatnot that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So then they get the report that there was some activity at Antigen. So Michael Ealy decides, he's like, "You two, you're in charge. Take care of this shit. Get this guy to the coroner, whatever." And so they go to Antigen, and Stephen Ray, the doctor, who's known as Jacob, Dr. Jacob, is in the lab, and they're like, "There's a detective here. They want to talk to you." "Where is he?" "He's in the foyer or whatever." And I just love how dismissive this little asshole is. He's like, "I assure you the situation is under control." "What happened?" "I repeat, under control." "I repeat, what happened?" "A test subject got loose and we had to put it down." And he's like, "Nothing got out, only a stray bullet." "And what about the test subject?" "Flesh burned." And so he's being cooperative because he has no choice. He's like, yeah, well, files have to be reported and whatnot. So he gives him the runaround and just tells him that but to contain it. And he goes a little bit further into it. I lost my son to this disease. So you know a little bit about this. His son, he says his son he lost his son to this disease. So yeah. Now, the detective comes back out while his partner's filling it or tapping on his computer and smacking it because it's not being a good computer. And you get the printed photo of Selene jumping out of the window. And he's like, so the detective, Sebastian, comes in. He's like, they say it's nothing. Let's go. He's like, yeah, he's full of shit. You want me to report it? No, I'll take care of it. Really, I don't mind. So he just gives him the look. It's like, what the fuck did I tell you about questioning me? God damn it. He's like, all right, copy that. Yeah. So Selene. Oh, before we got any further, Selene was not the only one watching the detective at the bridge. We also see Theo James, who is looking at the whole thing and watching and whatnot. Okay, still under the weather. Turning in now. Thank you, Jade Shadow, and I hope you do feel better.
Good night,
and truly, get some chicken soup in you. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. And it's folks, our Soul Assassin plug. She is a great YouTuber.
She
does a lot of pop culture. She gives no holder. Yes, thank you indeed, and sleep well. So, Selene gets she needs some here. Am I lagging?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I think I am.
I'm ready to hear you
think I might be
transform in a
lagging.
minute now.
Yeah, I think I'm lagging.
I
will be right back. I'm gonna leave and then come right back to get.
Yeah, it's like it was like
7 minutes is coming out.
Yeah, I was wondering how you was drinking that water and still talking all at the same time. You were fucking me up.
It's kind of like watching those old.
Yeah, you was drinking
movies.
and I was like, it was like you was drinking and you were going like this, and all I heard was you talking. I was like, how the fuck is this possible?
I'm a Houdini, bitch.
Kind of like the dubbing for the Godzilla movies.
Exactly.
Alrighty, I'll be back.
Like he can talk and drink at the same time? Like what the fuck?
That's talent. That's talent right there.
How is this possible?
You gotta love technology and all its bloopers.
Yeah.
So anything new and exciting with you guys?
Well, I was gonna ask Mads what she's been up to.
Just standard, trying to do the whole parenting, online education nonsense. Finally making a breakthrough with that doll, though. I've been fighting the shoes for so long; they just did not want to work.
Shit, I'd have beat those shoes onto that doll.
What the hell did I just come back to? I come back and I hear I had to beat something about shoes and a doll. It's like what?
I haven't shown these to Maki yet, so I'm feeling a little guilty. Just finish them.
Aren't those cute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than beating off a piece of meat loaf.
So, am I lagging or am I good?
A little
Oh, no.
laggy, but not as bad.
Lagging a bit.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do one more show off of the Trident at the hour mark, and then I'm gonna switch over to my Kindle. That way, there's no lag. Now,
It's kind of fun. It's
which
like
version of
watching
the
an
Trident?
old kung fu movie. It's kind of cool.
yeah. So the guy that lets Selene go, he's at home, hanging up his coat after a hard day's work. Well, he locks his door and whatnot, and as soon as he puts up his jacket, Selene just kicks in the door. And he looks, well, there's nobody at the door anymore, and she's directly behind him, grabs him, puts him up against the window glass, and she's like, "Are the person who helped me escape, the one you call subject 2, was it a hybrid?" And he's like, "Yes!" And the window's cracking as she's continuously pushing him up against the window. And she's like, "What we could cure, yada, yada." And he's like, and then she asked him another question. I cannot remember exactly what it was. But he's like, "Subject 2 is a higher clearance or is top secret information. I don't have the clearance." And she's like, "You're lying." She shoves him out the window, shatters the entire window. This is this is pressurized glass and whatnot. This is like not glass that's easy to break, but she is a vampire and she's a very pissed off vampire. So she's holding him outside the door, and he spills the beans as he's pissing. I mean, he's not really pissing, but he probably would be. Any real man would. He's like, "All I know is that there's some sort of connection between you two. Your brains fall into sync when you're close to each other. You can see through each other's eyes." And I call that other underworld ring to it, So he's like, "Please, I'm the one that let you go." Now we're even. She lets him go while he's still out the window. And he has a spectacular death. He just splatters on top of a car. And she just lands right down there too. It's like, damn. Usually, I mean, that's kind of an unnecessary kill, but yeah, I dig it. So she starts seeing through the other hybrid's eyes that she thinks is Michael, even though there has never been this kind of thing that has happened before. I mean, how she can think it's Michael, but anyway. So the thing that she's looking through the other eyes takes a little hidey hole into a building, and so she gets there, and then Theo James follows her in, and then this is where we get our first real look at Lycans in the future.
Mm-hmm.
These mangy friggin' Lycans, diseased, starving, and apparently lost all of their freaking fur. Not pretty at all.
They weren't exactly
And
to start with,
so
but
yeah. I mean, but yeah, these ones were just real fucking ugly. So he's running, he does a little thing and ends up right in front of Selene, and she has her gun up. He's like, "Don't, why not? We're the same." So he turns his eyes blue, and she's like, "Why are you following me?" "We've been monitoring the police frequencies." And then they hear the snarling and growling. She's like, "Lycans, what's left of them?" "Yes. These Lycans are called lower Lycans. Part of a caste system, I guess, now."
Is it like Star Trek's Lower Decks?
So yeah.
No, they were more similar to the idea of the original one.
I wish, but it's because of their. Yeah, they kind of are more reminiscent, but except that they don't have fur at all. They're naked Lycans, really. And so they've never been this active before, which means something has them riled up. Something you're not telling me. So then she sees through the eyes of the other hybrid, and she thinks it's Michael, so she says his name, comes running, shoots one of the Lycans dead, and the other two just start running off. And that's where they discover that the person she's been seeing the eyes through is not Michael, but a little girl. A 12, 13-year-old girl.
Ish.
Played by India Isley, who was 18 at the time. But she literally looks like she is 5 years younger.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's who the character is in the thumbnail, folks. They call her Eve. Now, this girl is basically curled up into a fetal position, and she's looking at this little girl, and she's like, or Theo's like, do you know her? No. And then they hear the Lycans a little bit more active. And I'm going to get this set up while I talk, because I'm going to get
Yeah, you're
ready
breaking
to
down on us.
switch over to my Kindle for better signal and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No. And we got quiet again.
Yeah, well, happens. But hey, anybody got the time?
Yeah,
Depends on where you are.
Eastern.
10:02.
10:02.
Okay. I'm gonna have to head out here. I gotta pick up my wife from work.
Okay.
She gets done at like 10:30, but I gotta go to the store real quick too.
Alrighty, G-Fan. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, sure. Sorry I couldn't stay long. It just, I have the car and we only have one car right now, so.
Yeah, it's completely understandable.
Yep.
All right, guys. Hey, take care. Sorry I couldn't stay later, like I said.
Folks, sub to G-Fan. He's also a good channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I try. Take care, everyone.
All right, take it easy, man. Be safe.
Later.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, folks, on my Kindle, my camera will not function properly, so I will try to put myself on camera for a split second with it so I can show you one last time to see if Lethal is watching, which I do not think he is. But it is my goal tonight to make that bastard as jealous as I can. No, he's not really a bastard. But anyway, let's try to put it on.
Yeah, we love Lethal, but yeah, he's a pervy little wanker.
I got a trident, baby.
Which version is
Okay,
that?
did it work? Did it work?
Well, if somebody
Which
clips
one?
it, we can.
Yeah. Well, let me do it one more time, a little bit zoomed out. Behold. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, that's my trident. I got a big fork. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For I carry with me a big fork. Anyway, that's not how it goes. I know I'm going to hell. Back to the discussion.
Free barbecue. No worries.
Exactly, it is. I mean, I plan on roasting a Lycan on this thing. But, so yes, the Lycans will come back in numbers. So they're like, well, we can't leave her here. And so they pull them out. They find a Scooby-Mobile van, like kind of a little bit bigger than that, though. Doesn't look like a Scooby-Mobile at all. But another vehicle going by without a muffler. That is a joy. But
It's one of
anyway,
Megatron's friends.
yeah, I know. Megatron, tell your friends to get some fucking mufflers.
Oh shit!
Anyway,
Oh my god, that was too funny.
that's okay. So they start driving away, and three like lower Lycans, these mangy animals, as Craven calls them, but this time they actually are mangy. With so much mange that the fur is just gone.
Yeah.
They start chasing, and this is some of the worst CGI of these things running that I have ever seen. Folks, as a reviewer, you gotta be objective and subjective.
Mhm.
This is some of the worst CGI that I have ever seen in an Underworld movie. Worse than the original Underworld movie. That should tell you something. They did not do a good job with this movie. But anyway, they're chasing. They got these lower Lycans playing hopscotch on these different cars, trying to get to the van, trying to get to Eve for some weird reason. And David, the Theo James vampire, heartthrob for women everywhere. Because believe me, folks, as much as the guys were watching Naked Beckinsale in the earlier part, all the women were basically watching Theo James whenever he was on screen, and they were, shall we say, moist. So he's using his little gadgets, killing one Lycan that they just tries coming through the front door or front of the vehicle, and one gets into the side, starts biting into Eve, and that's when Kate Beckinsale sees through her eyes. You see the thumbs go into the eyes of the Lycan, and she just looks back. She's like, "What the fuck?" And you see the girl rip the Lycan's head clean in two, and starts doing a little roar with her transformed state. And I'm like, holy shit, okay. So when I first saw this, I'm like, okay, so she's a hybrid. What's the balance here? Now, honestly, I already knew that it was her daughter. It's because it was very obvious.
As soon as they said hybrid, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as they said hybrid, it was very obvious that this was her daughter. So that would make her a 75-25 hybrid. She's 75% vampire, 25% Lycan. And when she's in her transformed state, her skin is a deep blue. Her eyes, the whites of her eyes go black, and she has the blue lenses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Pardon me.
She looks really cool on her.
Yeah.
Transform form.
And her lower teeth really show the Lycan side to her, as well as her fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's pretty much super vampire. I mean, so when she kills that one and just tosses it out the side of the van, and all the other dead ones are thrown outside too, because they finally killed all the Lycans that were chasing them. She reverts back, and Selene's like, okay, I need to figure this shit out. So she's like, You drive. So she gets back. She's like, so she gets Eve talking. What's your name? Subject 1, and you're subject 2. And she's talking about how they said that her own mother, right next door, would never know that her own daughter, or that she had a daughter, and she's like, what of your father? Did they say anything about him? And she didn't know. So Selene, well, she is desperate to find Michael. She wants to know what happened to Michael. So she bites her own daughter's wrist to drink her blood to find out what she knows. Well, she doesn't know much. We see all the flashbacks of the escape, the people who were mistreating her and how she was snarling in a mirror, and her mother opening her eyes while still encased in ice and whatnot. And then that's where it ends, and she's like, Selene's kind of just pissed off that there's no real answers there. And she also notices her daughter is not healing. Most immortals heal, folks, and hybrids tend to heal a lot faster than other immortals. Also, I should mention before we get too far away from this, as one of those lower Lycans that were killed was reverting back to his human state, there's a guy in a van that looks down at the lower Lycan with kind of disgust, but then just drives off. And so you get an idea that this guy is somebody that's trying to track him. So it's a good setup. So then they get to a coven, or a hidden coven, where we see a great actor named Charles Dance. I'm back, y'all. Did Orange whip out his trident again? Yes, I did, damn it. And I enjoyed it. I tridented all over the place. Lethal, be jealous. But anyway, I cannot do it anymore, folks. Again, my Kindle, I get better reception on this because my Chromebook is just shitty. But it's a trade-off. I can't put myself on camera with the Kindle. I'm sorry. So yes, I got the trident right here. You can hear it. But yeah, I still got it. So they get in, and Charles Dance, who is a polylingual, speaks fluent in like 13 fucking languages, happens to just start speaking Russian to his son. It's like, you think Selene wouldn't know Russian? So she just starts speaking to him. And he's like, oh, okay, bitch, shut up. He's not happy that Selene is there. He knows who Selene is. He is miffed. She's like, hey, I'm only here as long as I need to be, and then I'll be out of your hair. Shut up.
Yeah.
So he's like, you bring the one that has betrayed us or our covens and has killed our kind. He's like, do you know who she is? Yes, I do. And she didn't betray us. We betrayed her, which is very true, which is extremely true. The vampires did betray Selene and, well, tried to kill her several times. And so they expressed to the doctor that she's not, or that the girl's not healing. And so the doctor takes a kind of like huge tweezers, forceps kind of things, tears off a piece of her skin, which she is visibly distressed by because, well, it does kind of hurt to get a little piece of your skin pulled off. And she pours a little blood. And if you pay close attention to the scene, you actually see the blood regenerate very quickly. I mean, it's just a piece of skin that just continues to grow. And she's like, her healing or her regeneration is active but weakened. I'm like, if that's weakened, then what the fuck? And so she asked the kid, when did you last feed? There's no origin bite marks. I've never seen a child like this. When did you last feed? Feed? Kid doesn't know what the hell. She's talking, so they're like, give her blood. So she starts feeding. And that's when her eyes change again, but she's still in her human form. And it's like, wow, that's just really bad lens work. Because let's face it, folks, the digital lens work that they do, very good. That was bad. That looked like her eyes were about to pop out a little bit. But it still fits the tone of what is going on. It still keeps you in the know. So they're like, take her to, or so David wants her brought to his room to rest, and it's like, okay, whatever. And he's like, no. Or his father's like, no, look at the eyes. And, well, the doctor's like, oh, my God, they do exist. And it's like, what, you never heard of a hybrid before? And so Charles decides to grill Selene. What do you know of this child? Nothing. I was escaping with Michael Corbin at the time. Yes, your Lycan lover, long dead. What is this then? None of your concern. She just basically heard that her lover has been, well, long dead. So, yeah, that's kind of a crippling blow.
Yeah.
And Eve is just left there twitching because she just fed and is starting to regenerate. And she regenerated fairly quickly. What did you guys think of the coven scene? Or, well, Mads, what did you think of the coven scene?
Yeah, I had to laugh when they tried to talking another language. I'm like, you obviously don't know who you're dealing with, because she's been alive for a long time. That's a lot of time to learn languages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I go through insomnia myself, and I pick up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Give me that much time, yeah. But no, as soon as she started feeding, I'm like, oh no, no. Let's not show them what she is. That could be bad.
And this coven that they're at is a really drab coven. It is not a prestigious.
It's
cool
not what we saw before.
Yeah, it's a rundown, hiding in a hole coven, quite literally in a hole.
Yeah.
And so Selene has a little moment to herself, and she just starts crying, or she starts crying because, well, she just, again, she now believes that Michael is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a very complete love that her and Michael have. Even though they've only known each other for, well, 12 years and a day, plus however many years it took between evolution and the beginning of awakening.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But anyway, she's then looking at some murals and whatnot, and David comes up, and she also sees the jacket of the death dealers. A jacket that she knows very well, because I believe it was one that she wore.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, I heard stories about the death dealers and how they always protected us and whatnot. And when you leave, take me with you. And Charles Dance gets in. He's like, the Lycan youth rebelled against their elders, and they got their asses kicked and nearly extinct. Is that what you want to bring here? And he's like, she can help us. She can train us. I would rather stand and fight than live in a hole, father.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how dare you? He's like, how dare you do so little? I mean, the dynamic, but Charles Dance is a great actor.
Yeah.
And he has played a vampire before. He played in Dracula Untold as the proto-vampire. As well, or as the prime vampire that turned Dracula into one.
Hmm.
And that was pretty interesting in itself. But, so then we go back to Eve. And Eve is kind of taking a psychotic twist. She's cutting herself. It's like, right? Why exactly are you cutting yourself? Just so she can heal, just to watch herself heal like a hobby. And I'm like, yeah, this kid has issues. But then again, it's understandable considering how she was brought up. I should also point out that during this time, Mr. Jacob and a female doctor are talking, and the female doctor is panicking because the child has escaped. She's never been to the outside world. She's never been out of containment. And Jacob, the doctor's like, don't tell me what's going on. Why don't you reflect on your own personal conduct, how you continue to treat this child with, or endow this child with human traits. It's not a child. It is a blight of nature. Basically,
Sounds familiar.
You slowly get an idea that this guy might not be on the up and up. And we will later on find out why. And so then, while she gets caught cutting herself, Selene comes in, takes the damn knife away from her. She's like, I always dreamed about the day that I would meet you. Like a silly little girl. And you're as cold as one already dead. And so Selene decides to be very open with her. Yesterday, I was with your father. And he was no further than you are to me right now. I went to sleep. And while I was asleep, 12 years had passed. And instead of finding the only person I have ever loved, stood a girl with his eyes. My heart is not cold. It is broken. And that was one of the most powerful lines delivered by Kate Beckinsale in this movie. She delivers a few other great ones down the line, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I can't be your ideal mother. You just got to give me some time to really register what the fuck is going on in this world, you know? It's like, hey.
He's now paraphrasing.
Yes, I am paraphrasing. It's basically, it's like, yeah, give me some time to figure this shit out, and I can then be a better parent. But right now, I need to figure out what the hell's going on, why the hell they're after you, and all this stuff. Basically, she has to play detective. And so then Charles Dance also talks with Eve, and he's like, those eyes, you're special. I know exactly what you are. It's like, dude, you're creepy. I was watching that scene. It's like, that is just, yikes. That's just creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the alarm goes off and they think it's humans who are infiltrating the coven. And sorry, I was just shocked by what I saw on Twitter. Holy crap.
What?
Anyway. So everybody's arming up thinking that it's about to be a human assault. And Charles Dancy's like, are you mad? What are you doing? Knock this shit up. I said knock it. He throws one person against the wall. He's like, I said stop it. And Selene just looks at him like, oh my God, will you give it a rest? He's like, we have never, or this coven has never been assaulted, and now you've let humans here. She's like, this day was bound to come, with or without us. She's basically had enough of this shit. So everybody's getting ready to handle the entrance to where the humans are most likely going to enter. And the door gets breached, and not humans, Lycans are attacking. Not the diseased, mangy lower Lycans, but furry Lycans. The fur, not that kind of furry people. Jesus. But the one stronger Lycans. The Lycans that we're all used to. Oh, and for those who are listening, Lethal, if you're listening, I got a trident, and it's Aquaman's trident. But anyway,
I'm just saying, without the picture with it, it doesn't sound right.
I know, right? All right, I'll do one more. I got to put on my orange hat here. Oh. I'll do one more off or on screen for a split second thing. Back up a little bit. And there we go. There.
There you go.
That's it. I got it, Lethal. And there it goes because my Kindle camera is just weird.
No worries.
I've tried everything to try to fix it, but it's not working. But anyway, so they switch to silver ammunition, and David grabs a silver whip. It's like, okay, this is the worst looking CGI rendered whip I have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But the girl's hiding, and she's like, they're after her. I'll get her out of here, and I'll lead them, or we'll lead them away, and whatnot. So she's like, so she's going, or Selene's just slaughtering these Lycans like it's nobody's business. I mean, that is just how good she is. And
I'm sorry, Soul Assassin is killing me.
follow the man who plays with his trident. Seriously, pounding his trident, dude. Yes, he went there. Oh my gosh, you are one sick bastard. But I love you, Soul. I love you. So, she gets to her daughter's door, and she's like, "Come with me." But then her daughter looks, and you see a huge hand, or a Lycan hand, just grab Selene. And it's like, okay, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
But then you see her daughter push the door open, and she just starts transforming. And she jumps on the Lycan's back and bites into the Lycan, and this Lycan shrieks. It's like, ah! A Lycan just shrieking and howling like that. It's like, ah! It's like, fuck! Someone just bit me. I mean, it was hilarious to see how it reacted to her biting him, you know? Because it's like, I just didn't expect it to be that comical, because it literally lets out a howl that's like, ah! Fuck! Someone just bit me. I'm usually the one that bites, but damn, this hurts.
Is that what I've been doing to people? Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, holy shit, man. You can't take what you give. But yeah, it was just hilarious. And then you see David trying to fight a Lycan, and he has this like kind of silver bladed knuckle dusters, or brass knuckles, but they're silver knuckles. So he's punching into a Lycan, and it's just not working. So the Lycan just picks him up and starts ripping into his shoulder, and so Selene just shows up, blasts the Lycan in the head, and he's like, he gives a little nod of thanks, and then you hear this big fucking roar. Not a Lycan roar. This is something just way bigger. And it's like, what the actual fuck was that? And I'm in the theaters. I didn't see the trailers. I didn't. I honestly did not see the trailers before I saw this movie, and I'm like, okay, that's big sounding. So she's like, keep her safe. I'll go check it out. Well, Selene is the badass of this movie. So, yes, she goes on. She sees all of the other, or she sees a bunch of little dead Lycans, a lot of dead vampires. And then she hears this growling, and she looks at this curtain, and you see something on the other side of this curtain, and it's big. It looks like a Lycan, but this is a big fucking Lycan. This thing is really fucking big. So she's like, she pulls her guns up, and as it's moving slowly, it gets into her line of sight, and she just starts peppering it.
I was going to ask you, was it bigger than William?
Oh yeah.
This is they call it an Uber Lycan. They
A what?
basically their way of calling it super, but it's Uber.
Uber.
And I'm like, what the fuck is Uber? And I'm thinking, it's like, what the fuck is an Uber Lycan? Just call it a super Lycan. I mean, for Christ's sake. This thing makes William look like a runt of the litter, to be quite honest. I'm not joking. This thing is like 10 to 15 feet tall. Maybe taller, bigger.
Yeah, Soul Assassin tagged us in one that actually shows the Uber Lycan.
Yes. So go to your Twitter and you can actually see what this thing looks like. 24. And so she starts peppering it with fire, with silver bullets, and you could see it. It's reacting. It's like, ow, fuck. Bee stings. Shit.
Ow.
And then this thing just fucking comes through, and it's like, okay, bitch, it's on now. Smacks her, gets up close. She grabs a sword that was stuck into one Lycan, puts up her guard, and it's about to smack her again and loses 2 fingers, and it's like, fuck, okay. Ow. Okay, this is a minor inconvenience, okay. So it stands up full height. I would actually have to say it's more like 20 fucking feet tall. This is a Lycan that's like 20 feet tall. Yikes. And she's like, okay, holy shit, I've never faced something like this. So it charges her. She starts running away. It charges. She runs up the wall, jumps over its head, stabs into its back with a silver sword, and busts off or breaks off the blade. You see this Lycan heal over the silver. It's like, okay, this is not your normal Lycan. This thing is not, or is actually resistant to silver. That's not good.
It's like
and then
twice the size of any Lycan we've seen before. Of course, it's not your normal Lycan.
Yeah. And so this thing just turns around after it heals and just smacks her, just fucking bitch slaps her into the side and has a bunch of wooden debris fall on her. She's out cold.
Mm-hmm.
She wakes up and she sees the results of what has happened. She's like, where is she? And David's like dying, and he's like, they took her. They accepted her. Charles Dance has basically had enough of this shit. He's like, as a gift from me. And I'm like, dude, you're worse than Victor. Well, Victor would have killed her outright, but fuck, man, that's just wrong. And then you see through her eyes, you see Eve's from her own POV getting dragged away. And Selene runs out after her, doesn't find them. It's too late. She's out of proximity, so she can't see with other sight. And she comes in just as David dies. And she is pissed. She's like, do you know what you've done? Do you have any idea? I just saved this coven. And not that there's much left to save. Countless destroyed. This coven's destroyed. My son is dead. Your son fought for a cause he believed in. She is the last living descendant of Alexander Corvinus, and you handed her over to them. Those were those were Lycans, not extinct, stronger than ever before, and that Lycan was more than twice the size of any Lycan I have ever seen. And you handed her over. So, as a final fuck you to Charles Dance, she decides that she's going to save David's life. She slices her hand open. She takes a knife, slices Dave's chest open, reaches in, and pumps his heart. Remember from Underworld Evolution, she has Corvinus's blood in her. So it's basically a miracle worker. So she cuts her hand open so that some of her blood and the Corvinus strain can go into David and pumps his heart. And I got to say, that was one of the worst looking insides of a person I've ever seen.
Well,
But
they're
it's still
supposed to be pretty inside.
True, but it just didn't look like insides at all. It just looked like a pool with a black fucking heart in there. But anyway, she pumps the heart, and he comes alive, and she pulls out. That's what she said. Anyway, she pulls her hand. She pulls her hand out of his chest, and it heals. And his father's like, David, oh my God. So she then goes and grabs the death dealer's jacket, the trench coat, and you see her walking away, slinging that sucker on. It's like, the bitch is back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It was the perfect hero shot. I mean, this was a brilliant hero shot in a bad movie, folks. And so, she's out there in sunlight during daylight, because we all know that she can walk around in daylight, and she needs information. And she saw a cop back earlier in the movie, played by Michael Ealy, and he's parking in a police garage, and you see her drop from the ceiling a distance away from her. So he looks back, and as it's panning around, she's no longer there, but then it pans around, and she's right in front of him, gun in his face. One of our covens was attacked by a bunch of Lycans. He doesn't flinch at all. She's like, "You're not surprised. You know they've been, or how'd you know they were back? Just a feeling." And she's like, "I'm not good with feelings. This is not the place for this, and you're not going to kill me." Really? Yeah, because you wouldn't need a fucking gun to do it. That's a direct quote, by the way. It's like, well, okay, you want to sound badass, Michael. Good job. You just sounded badass. You dropped the F-bomb, man.
There is a question in the chat for you.
Oh, okay. What do we got here? Big question. Orange has seen the inside of a person before? I shall neither confirm nor deny that to protect certain parties involved. But to clarify, no, I have not murdered anybody. Let's just say that. I may have been inside of a coroner's office while they were doing an autopsy, though.
Cool.
But yeah, so anyway,
well, before you were born, you was in somebody else's body.
Yeah, I know, and the view was spectacular. Just a lot of red.
There you go.
Actually, I've seen a good chunk of my own organs, but another story.
I'm almost willing to put this on pause so we can discuss that. But no, let's get back into it. So they're going over files, and Michael Ealy's laying out what he is suspecting is going on. And he thinks that the government is doing a mass conspiracy. And while they're talking this over, the doctor that lost his son to this disease is talking with a committee of people about how now that the asset is back in our possession, we can go over new phases of our or final phases of our plan. And you basically understand now, if they're talking about this stuff, or if they're talking that the asset and being and Lycans just took them. I'm guessing these people are probably fucking Lycans. And it is confirmed because the female doctor comes in while they're talking about this stuff. And he's like, and one of the older guys asks, he's like, Doctor, as per to your, or in regards to your patient, he continues to show immunity to silver. Yes, but more than that, given additional injections merely as precaution, he's developed greater muscle mass, strength, speed, stamina. And that's when she comes in. Mm-hmm. You said she was crucial to our research. Yes, and she'll continue to be. How? By vivisecting her? And when I got home, I looked up the word vivisect. And I'm like, well, fuck. That's not pleasant. No. No. And she's like, I cared for this child, but she notices, or he notices that she has the file, and he's like, you were not supposed to see that. And she's like, I've cared for this child, and you expect me to just stand by while you harvest her genetic material? He finishes that sentence for her. I don't expect much from you. I asked you to look after it, and for the most part, you've done a wonderful job, saving the lives of thousands. And she's like, what are you talking about? Then somebody comes in, a guy with 3 fingers, who locks the door and turns around with Lycan eyes and some teeth and a small growl. So you get the idea. This was that big badass Lycan that was just at the coven and bitch slapped Selene like she was nothing.
Yes.
So she turns around.
The ever talented Chris Holden Reed.
You met him, did you not?
I have not personally met him. I do have his autograph. My sister got it for me when I was pregnant with my daughter.
Oh,
awesome. It was like I was at that point already overdue. So, ironically, he actually had a daughter born around the same time. So, but yeah,
that's cool. Mm-hmm. Yes, Soul Assassin, 3 fingers because he lost 2 fingers swinging at Selene.
Yep.
When she had a sword up. So, it's dissecting a creature alive. Yes, exactly. That's what vivisecting means. Thank you, Mr. Pete. And it's good to see you. Didn't they do a vampire versus Lycan on, like, Animal Face-Off or something special?
It was Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, it was Ultimate Warrior.
And
now,
it wasn't Vampire versus Lycan, it was Vampire versus Zombie. Yeah. They should have done Vampire versus Lycan.
Well, that trope's already been basically done. I mean, over all classic monster movies and everything else, vampires versus werewolves. I mean, it's been done to death, but you know what?
You know that they have this gang vampire versus, it's called like Bloods versus Crips. It's Bloods versus Wolves or Werewolves or something like that. But it's gang affiliated vampires fighting gang affiliated werewolves, and then they use the whole Blood versus Crips thing, and they threw it in there. So yeah, you can look that up. You can Google that shit. Everything I said, like kind of put into pieces. The movie will pop up. And
I'll probably look that up. I've actually had interactions with both Bloods and Crips, but that's a story for another time too.
Yeah, but it's awesome. It's kind of like having our very own race in the chat or on the panel.
Yeah.
He said 3 fingers.
Yeah, I know, right? But anyway, so Big Bad Lycan comes up and basically chokes out the female doctor, snaps her neck, and just tosses her down. While Jacob actually grew his eyes out to show that he was also a Lycan.
And then they go back to the discussion of Selene and the detective. And how he's saying that they administered over 1,000 tests that came back negative, but yet Lycans were still out there. So I think somebody's protecting them. And I think that Disco, and she's like, so she's like talking to him, asking him questions, and he's hesitant to answer. And he's like, if you're protecting somebody, I don't care. They have my daughter. I don't care about them. I just want her. And so he's like, so he explains it, and then he's like, I think this goes all the way up to the top. And she's like, or maybe the bottom. What do you mean? She sees the antigen symbol on the test stuff, and she's like, who administers the tests? So they're driving, and before they get to the driving scene, they go back to Jacob, the doctor, and his son, and how he's getting more injections, talking about the girl Eve, and or the way that they described it. I mean, if I didn't already know that they were planning on vivisecting her, like cutting her open and stuff, I would have thought this was taking a totally different route, because it's like they're like levels of menses steady. It's come of age, and I'm like, what the fuck are you planning? I mean, when I saw, it's like, that kid is 13. What the fuck? I mean, I'm like, what on? I was ready. I almost walked out of the theater. It's like, what the fuck? It was just fucking creepy at first. But then they're like, now that we have enough raw genetic material ready for cloning, they're talking about butchering the girl. God damn, man, you had me scared for a second there. Holy fuck.
Yeah, because butchering the girl is a...
Much better, I know, right? But still, I'd rather the kid get butchered than, get that, you know? No offense, folks. I mean, there's... Yeah.
No. I'm just playing with you.
Oh, I hear you. I know.
I no, being honest, yeah, my back went up on that one too.
Yeah. And so I was watching the audio commentary one time of this, and they're like, where's the grossest spot you've ever seen somebody get an injection? The eye socket.
Yeah.
From Pitch Black. So they fucking do it in this movie. They're like,
yeah,
they give him a fucking injection right through the damn eye socket. It's like, ugh. Okay, that's just disgusting. Ugh. And they're talking about, and he's talking, I wish Mother was here to see this. Your mother chose to remain human. She abandoned us. Don't you forget that. It's like, okay, controlling father issues. Got it. Check. And also you hear a very important line in this. I've also begun injecting myself as a precaution. So Jacob the doctor is a Lycan, and he's also injecting himself with the uber juice. So this will come to play later on. He's not injected himself like his son to that level, but we'll get there. So as Selene and the detective are driving, he's like, so how is it that you are able to walk around in the sunlight? She's like, it was a gift from a man named Alexander Corvinus. And he's like, the founding father. So this tells you that they've heard a story, or they know about who Corvinus is, but it's more of a kind of business thing, like founding father kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not the patient zero, so to speak. And he's like, I had a wife, and he tells his sob story. He had a wife while she was working at a hospital. She got bit, and then for a few years we kept it a secret, and then the purge came, and they were doing door-to-doors. My wife told me that she loved me, and when they got to our door, she let the sunlight in. I had to watch her burn. So he's sympathetic to her cause. He's sympathetic to her case and whatnot. And so they get to a silver armory. I mean, they got grenades, they got bombs, they got bullets. That holy fuck, man! This is like, yes, this is a Lycan hunter's wet dream of an armory. She's just filling up on explosives. And he's like, if you go in there, there's going to be like hundreds of Lycans. Who knows how many are in there? So she's like, I'm hoping so. Let me help you. Why? Because I got an idea. And so they go over a little plan. And then she gets to antigen. But we also see Eve waking up. And they're getting her ready for surgery, procedure, vivisection, whatnot. And they're starting to pump the area full of fentanyl to knock her out. And so she's jumping up, trying to rip the walls off. And she's jumping up at the camera, trying to smack at it. And Jacob's like, it's more painful, or it's hurts more if you try to fight it. Trust me. It's like, uh-huh. This will come back later to play, folks. So, they get to antigen, and Selene is ready for war. She has her backpack. She has her guns. She's like, or she gets a communications device from the detective. Can you hear me? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. She just looks at him like, fuck off. So she just gets out, starts walking, and then she sees the camera, and the guy sees her on the camera, and then looks, but she's not there. And then you just see a whoosh of speed, and he's like, oh my gosh, she's here in daylight. What the fuck? And they start ringing the alarms, and she's looking back to make sure that they notice that she's there. It's like, just keep going. Don't fucking wait. So they start, this is her Terminator moment. I call this the Terminator moment because freaking her detective friend's watching her through binoculars, and she's just walking up the stairs as the guys or the security people are shooting at her, and she just takes a couple shots, barely flinches, just kind of little jerks. She's like, just keeps walking. I'm like, okay, yeah. Wow.
She just needed to pull a gun out of some roses. Would have been great.
Yeah, I know, right? And so as if you pay close attention to these guards that are shooting at her, you can see that they got Lycan teeth in. Mm-hmm. And one guard is running up, and you can hear him growling and whatnot. And I'm like, ugh, cool, but ugh. Yeah. So she also tells Michael Ealy to wait for her cue. And Michael Ealy thinks that she's going to be okay. He does not expect what she's going to do, because she's opening up the elevator, ascending in the elevator, putting these explosives on each door. Mm. And when they get up to the top floor, they're ready, or she's not there, but they see the explosives and they're like, move! She just clicks the explosion, and it's silver nitrate gas. Basically, any Lycan in there is going to start choking. And she's like, that's your cue. To the detective, and the detective's like, what the fuck did it? He has such a shocked expression that says it all. It's like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? I mean, we all know Selena's a death dealer. She's ready for war. She has fought Lycans. She's going to kill. Yep. This is a ma that wants her cub back.
Yep.
And she sees the Lycans struggling because they're choking on the silver nitrate gas. I mean, this is stuff this is like atomized colloidal silver, like from Blade Trinity, that's very fine and gas-like, and it's in the ventilation system, pumping out everywhere. And she's just blasting. Say what?
Very good soul assassin. He actually just popped that up too.
All that armor he needs is a silver trident, and Orange will be one happy fellow.
Yes.
Indeed.
And then they do the gas in Blade 3. Very good.
Yes, they actually do. Didn't they do the gas and trick in Blade 3? Yes, the atomized colloidal silver. That's exactly what I meant. And so the son, or Uber Lycan boy, comes in to his father while they're getting the girl ready for surgery. And he's like, they're using silver nitrate bombs or gas bombs on all the floors. It's subject 1. And he's like, or we have to evacuate. Fine. And he talks to the other doctor. He's like, set up a propofol injection. We're not canceling this procedure. We're moving it. It's like, okay. I've never, all right, mobile surgery. Let's do it. So they have her going, and he's like, or so, when she said that's your cue to the detective, and he's like, copy, and he's getting, or he goes to the security station that's outside and trying to find his or her daughter. And he sees her. He's like, or they're on the same floor that you are. And she's like, just don't lose them. She turns around and sees them walking by. She's like, I'm heading down. And the son's like, or tells the 2 Lycan guys to kill her. And as they're running, they just change in midair as they're leaping at her. And it's like, okay, cool, awesome. Visual effects, bravo. So she jumps into a ventilation duct. And she is in a nice little cozy spot. And so she shoots one Lycan dead, and another one's continuing to come up behind her. And she's out of bullets, so she throws a silver grenade in there. And, well, that kind of just crisps up that Lycan a little bit because of the silver. But it also blew a hole in there, too.
Mm-hmm.
So she drops through the hole, and she finds another frozen sarcophagus kind of thingy that she was in.
Cryogenic chamber.
What?
Cryogenic chamber.
Yeah, cryogenic chamber. I forgot the name of it. Internet gas trick. Anyway, so it says subject 0 on it. And while they're looking for her and everything, and the detective is like, Selene, they're getting in a truck, getting ready to move, and whatnot. Selene, fuck it. He has a grenade launcher he has a 6-shot grenade launcher in his hand, and there's a guy that tells him not to move, and he just blasts the dude with a fucking grenade or silver grenade. And as he's walking by, you see a smoldering corpse. It's like, fuck. And so he's going to drive to try to hold off the van from escaping, and then you see Selene rub the ice to see who it is. It's Michael. And so she then sees a couple of Lycan guys come in. She shoots them, and she keeps hearing the annoying detective in her ear, Selene, they're getting away, Selene, fucking. And it's like, she's like, well, I can't, it's either do this or save Michael. She shoots the tank that Michael's in to slowly defrost it. And she then goes to find, or she gets in an elevator, I think. Or no, she gets near an elevator and gets tackled by a Lycan into the elevator shaft and falls. And that's when you see the other, or the son, the Uber Lycan guy, transform his hand into this big fucking Lycan hand while he's still in human form. And I'm like, hello, Freddy. And he smacks the elevator brake cables. And so the Lycan is down, or she falls, she smacks her back. It's like, holy fuck, man. Any person who hits their back like that would be dead. But, well, she's a super vampire, so, yeah.
Technically, she is dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. And so she gets, or so, vampire, the elevator is falling, and so she starts shooting the elevator and to weaken the bottom. This does not happen in real life, folks. If this did, she would be dead. She would be crushed into. Say what?
We established this in the first movie.
Yes. And so she shoots up the bottom of the elevator and just puts her hands over her head and kneels down. And yes, well, the elevator crashes and she's now still alive because, well, she's Selene. And he's like, Selene, they're in parking level 1. And she's like, I'm coming up. And then you see Uber Lycan guy start to transform in the middle of the hallway. And because of the injections, you see just how kind of painful this transformation really is for him. Because he jerks to one side so strongly that if the wall wasn't there, he'd just keep going. But he finally changes, and it's basically the scene that is in that tag that I believe it was Soul Assassin that did it.
Mm-hmm.
That did that.
I have to say that was a painful change to watch.
Yeah, this is not a transformation that you really want happening.
Yeah, it wasn't like the previous Lycan changes we've seen, like Ray's, like Michael, like a bunch of them. Yeah, they're hard to watch,
but this one is
painful.
Yeah,
it was because only way I can really describe it.
You're expanding your bones beyond their normal logical limits. You're increasing your mass. You're expanding everything.
Ooh,
take that how you will in the chat.
Oh, hey,
go ahead.
My bad. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, his trick with the hand, just it does raise questions, but
I like that.
But
hey, did you see Mr. Pete's channel? He said it's Bloods versus Wolves with the Z.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually did hear about that, and I will try checking that out if I can.
Yeah, matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, that came out between 2000 and 2005. Like it's easily a good 15, 20-year-old movie, easily.
YouTube, Bloods with a Z versus Wolves.
Yes,
and
and then they're both like gang related. It's all kinds of weird shit in there. I remember seeing that. Matter of fact, I watched it and I couldn't even get through like the first. Like I got through like probably half of the movie, and I was like, nah, I can't do it. And that was way back then, because back then I was a manager for Blockbuster back then. So of course,
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Over here in Houston. But that was way back then.
Folks, you can actually watch this movie on YouTube.
Cool.
Oh well, shit. There you
go.
Somebody put it up.
The chat going on about the jerking to one side. Yes, if I remember correctly, he jerked so hard he left a dent in the wall.
Yeah, he kind of cracked the wall. Jerking. Jesus Christ. Santa Megatron, Soul Assassin. Oh my gosh. Yes, take it as you will, folks. Expanding to abnormal sizes. That hand growing would probably please a lot of ladies just with one finger, but he wouldn't need 3. That's all I'm saying. Hey. Or as George Takei would say, "Oh my." I did that a little too well.
A little too. Let's go.
But anyway, so they're the security people, and Steve or the Jacob doctor is driving and has her all latched in a van, and as they're driving, you see Selene just run right up to the freaking van while it's in motion and just plow into it like a freaking linebacker. It's like, "Mama's coming, honey!" And she tackles a freaking van. She plows that van right off the road. I'm like, fuck. When I saw that, it's like, fuck me, man. That was just awesome. So she opens up the back door, and there's a couple of Lycans that she's like, oh, fuck off. But then she hears the tromp stomp and bump 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 and sees the big boy coming in. And she's like, oh, fuck, I got to deal with this guy again. And believe me, this is something that was fun to watch. This scene, this thing throws a freaking car at her. She dodges it like a champ. And then she's trying to get away because this is a Lycan that's just going on pure offense. The Uber Lycan is back in the game attacking her and shoving a vehicle at her. And so she slides under the vehicle, kicks off of that one, gets under there, gets her gun. And then the Uber Lycan reaches over and just smacks her into a security area or a little security port in the wall. And then tries to get to her through the wall. And so she pulls out a silver knife, just starts stabbing into the side of the head, trying to dry that sucker in real good. And you see his eye bulge a little bit before she gets out, and he smacks her again. And then you see him healing the wound healing really quickly again. But you also see that it kind of hurts. It's like, oh, God damn, that hurts a little bit. So he sees her, or the big boy sees her again, and he starts charging. Now, before we get to that part, we got to get to the other part where the doctor or the detective sees the doctor trying to get her out of the van and shoots her, and shoots the doctor, and he turns around with his eyes black like a Lycan's, like Lycan black. And he gets out, and the doctor just throws him over there. It's hurting. And he's struggling over towards the gun. The doctor just kind of picks up, it gently moves it like 3 inches away, picks up his head by the hair, and the guy, one last defiant, fuck you. Then he just puts his head right into the concrete and goes right back to what he was doing. Well, then David's back. You know, the guy that got the Corvinus juice treatment. He's back.
David's back. Tell a friend.
Yep. Oh, no, wait. Actually, no, he's not back yet. After the detective just got knocked out, we hear the growling and the screeching behind the doctor. And we see that Eve is indeed awake and rather PMSing pissed off, shall we say.
I mean, people want to cut you open. Yeah, you're going to wake up on a bad side of the bed.
Yeah. I mean, they've also been trying to basically give her a roofie every 50 minutes. So, yeah. This is one pissed off.
There ain't no coffee big enough to put me in a good mood if I wake up to that.
Yeah. And so then you see him rip off his clothes, and he starts transforming into a Lycan, or he rips off his shirt anyway.
Yeah.
And this is Stephen Ray, man. This is the dude that was the detective in V for Vendetta, getting into a nice little transformation. He looks like a weird fucking wolf man.
Mm.
He doesn't do a full transformation, but he's still strong because, remember, he was also giving himself injections. So he looks weird as a Lycan. I mean, I would pull it up if I could screen share with my Kindle, but I can't. And they start fighting it out. And she gets thrown, or she's getting choked out by the doctor. And that's when David comes in and says, get away from her, with a shotgun in hand. And the doctor looks back at him. He shoots, blows off the fucking doctor's face. But the doctor doesn't flinch. He's looking at him like, yeah, and I'm still gonna rip your damn throat out. And you see him take another shot, and it's like, dude, shotguns aren't working. Get the fuck out of there. You're not ready for this shit. So he then, I think, smacks David away. And that's when Eve gets up again, tackles the doctor to the front end of a vehicle, and then just rips his throat right out. And you see him slowly regressing back into his human form, and she decides to give the same line that he gave to her. It's harder if you try to fight it. Trust me. It's like, okay, badass moment, chick. Good job, you did it. You killed a semi-uber Lycan. More like a semi-uber Wolfman. So, yeah, the Uber Lycan is trying to get to Selene, and she's in a tunnelway, and he can't really get to her because, well, he's so goddamn big. And he's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna fucking get you, you son of a bitch. She's limping away because, she's kind of been smacked into a bunch of few walls, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to change back. So he changes back to get in there, and he grabs her by the back of the neck and lifts her up. And she looks up, kicks the wall, turns around, punches a hole in this man's chest.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck. And he feels it too. He's like, fuck. And so she pulls her hand out. And you see the wound close up, and he's like, I heal instantly. And she's like, I'm counting on it. Cue 3D shot where she throws a grenade ring at him. He catches it, sees what it is. Oh, fuck. He's trying to, or as she runs out of there, he's trying to claw himself open in his human form. Well, you heal instantly. You're not going to get there. So he tries to change back into Uber Lycan. And while he's changing, you think he might get there. Boom! He gets the massive case of silver indigestion and whatnot. And kind of like in the middle of mid-transformation between man and Uber Beast, he's like, ooh, you see him kind of plooping up a little bit. And then you see him like, oh, fuck. And then it's just blood and guts everywhere. So, yeah. Uber Lycan's dead. Uber Wolfman's dead. You got sirens in the distance. And the detective is still alive after getting a face full of cement. And David's alive and whatnot. And they're like, or the detective's like, go, Selene, I'll buy you some time. And she's like, okay, thank you. And everybody's like, we're going back in. She's like, yes, we are. So they go Mike, because Michael's still alive and he's thawing out. Well, he's thawed out all right, and he's on the roof because Eve can see him through Michael's eyes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Michael? Yeah, the roof. So they go up, and they don't find Michael. And Kate does another beautiful monologue about how basically the purge has happened. They're hunted, and we will find Michael, and the vampires will become stronger again. We will not let the Lycans take this world, and we will reclaim it. And then that's the end of the movie. And I'm like, but they didn't find Michael. I'm in the theater and I'm like, no, I want more. Give me more. I need more. I want to see where Michael is. Get him back, please. I was freaking out in the theater. It's like, no more, please.
Yeah, I had the same reaction. It's like, son of a.
I know. It's like, this is one hell of a fucking cliffhanger to leave us on. God damn it. So 24. Did I basically give you the enough of a clear view of this movie?
Yeah, you sure did.
I did my best, man, and
There was points where it actually was feeling like I was watching Sportsnet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a real shame we can't actually show clips from the movie, because between you and I we really could do a whole
Oh, yeah.
Sportsnet play-by-play.
oh yeah. I mean, believe me, this is the kind of stream that I shine, people. This is where I really shine when it comes to movies, because I can give you a freaking scene by scene, play by play.
Mhm.
Right.
That's autism here.
Yeah.
And this movie, while objectively flawed, consistency, errors, continuity, a lot of problems, CGI just sucks. But this movie is still enjoyable to watch if you are an Underworld fan.
Mhm.
And so Mads, what's your out of 10 score for this movie?
I mean, one, I've always been a fan of Chris Holden Reed. He is an absolute delight of an actor. I've actually gotten to know some of the people that has worked with him, and he is just a sweetheart in real life, apparently. So when I found out that he was going to be in this movie, yeah, I was all over it. I mean, I was already going to be. I mean, Underworld had to know what goes on.
Yeah.
For me, I loved Eve.
Mhm.
Her transformation is one. Honestly, if I was going to cosplay anybody out of there, as
Yeah.
much as I would love to, to for the Selene, but no,
Yeah.
Eve is such a cutie pie. I love it.
India Isley did a very good job.
She did. I have a hard time putting a number on it, because I loved the movie, but that ending, oh my god,
Such a cliffhanger.
I was watching it rated, ARR, but yeah, it's a good thing I loved my computer. Just saying.
Here, here.
I'd have to say like 7.58. I mean, again, I loved the movie, but that ending, that's a big ol' FU.
Yeah, that's a big old trident up the ass kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess grenade up the ass that would be fairly
Silver
appropriate.
grenade up the ass, yeah.
Yep.
They did that in The Boys. Except it wasn't silver. But anyway, me, objectively, this movie has its flaws. It doesn't pass. To me, objectively, without bias, folks, my review, basically, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Subjectively, 8 to 9 out of 10. I liked it, but the cliffhanger, as Matt says, the cliffhanger was it's like a big old fuck you, basically, to us. And I'm like, motherfucker, I want more Michael. Because we need that daughter-father relationship of how he can teach her how to really wield those claws, because her claws are full-on werewolf claws. Those are, and he has the full-on werewolf claws when he's transformed. So that would have made.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
my mind went left of center when I read Megatron's comment.
It's a big fusion cannon up there.
As a bad guy.
Say what? The fusion Lycan link? No, it isn't. I'm looking at it. Soul Assassin, it's still there. I can see it.
Selene versus Uber Lycan Link.
Oh wait, no, what? Selene versus the Uber Lycan link. It's gone. I don't think there was a link up there, unless you put it in the chat.
Looking.
I'm not seeing anything in the chat.
What are you talking
I mean, I
about?
see a word called jerkin in all caps. But yeah, this movie was definitely a good one. I enjoyed it a lot, subjectively. And moviegoer, where I'm not breaking it down, it's a 10 out of 10. I really did enjoy it. This is a movie now where, yes, Lycans were the good guys in the original trilogy, but it was a very big reversal. And it's like, so Selene's back with the vampires now? So, yes, there are some gripes with it, sure. The story does kind of do a flip flop on you. But overall, the movie is still enjoyable. That's how I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that, we are going to start winding this down. And just before we do go, just before we go, let me get my hat on here. Oh, I'm gonna back this thing up again and back up my chair a little bit. Lethal, if you're watching, I got a trident. A little bit of flash or half a second shot of my trident. That just sounded really fucking weird. Ugh. Anyway, folks, definitely. Speaking of Lethal, or tomorrow morning for us on the East Coast, probably around I think 9 o'clock. The full Aussie is going to happen with Lethal, Raging Rhino, and Lyndon Hall or Hal, depending on how you pronounce it. Definitely tune into that because I have a feeling that's going to be a good one. They're going to be raging and ripping and all sorts of shit on that. So definitely tune into the full Aussie. And also, if you guys like Jade Shadow's content, tune in tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard for Jade Shadow's channel. She has her Talk Nerdy to Us with Stephanie from My Nerdy Home.
Mm-hmm.
And if you also like Odin's movie blog or OMB Reviews at 7 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern Standard, he will do his Saturday stream. Or it will start earlier, actually, because I think it's just going to be a 6:30 stream because of his son, baby Thor, needing his attentions because he is a young one. So yes, make sure you tune into all of these wonderful YouTubers. Sub to Mads Mama Bear and 24/7 Fusion Media. 24/7 does great work. I've been watching his channel, and I gotta say, I enjoy watching his channel. Let's get his sub count up there, folks.
He deserves a lot more than he has right now.
He should be, and so should Mads. They should both be above me in sub count right now. They got better channels than mine because I can't really do the same sharing screens and such that they can do. So definitely give them some subs, send some love their way. They truly deserve it.
Thank you.
And is there any projects that you guys got coming up?
I think I'm going to be doing a macaron pillow probably tomorrow.
Oh, what pillow?
You know, the French pastries.
Oh, macaroon.
Macaroon is the coconut version. Sorry, this is the chef in me.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Macaron is the French one. That's egg white, almond paste. But yeah, it's one of the big trendy things right now. Is a kawaii style pillow that looks like this French pastry.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter loves these kind of things, and I have a ton of blankets kicking around the house. So I'm going to be whipping up a couple.
Nice.
Yeah.
24, you got anything big coming up?
Interesting phrasing after big fusion cannon.
Talk Dirty to Us is is the after hours members only stream. Very true. And I happen to be a member. Ha ha. Macaroni. But yeah, 24. Do you have anything coming up?
Poppy? Oh, he might have needed to get up and walk around.
Mohawk, come back. Your hair is mist. Also, I need to borrow some of it. I have a bald spot. We'll let him get back here and talk and whatnot. But definitely, folks, tune in 2 weeks from now where we wrap up. Now, because 2 weeks from now is Christmas, is there a better day that you would prefer, Saturday or Sunday?
I think I would lean towards Boxing Day.
So that would be Saturday.
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, Saturday or Sunday. I check it out with the other crew because it's going to be. I mean, I know I don't have a ton of plans, but I am going to be at my mom's for actual Christmas. So,
yeah, when I heard Boxing Day, I was like, that was Boxing Day when everybody gets boxing gloves and starts pounding on each other. Because when I heard Boxing Day the first time, I was watching a Dragon Ball Z abridged thing. So I was like, Boxing Day, awesome. And then Vegeta just smacks Krillin. It's like, oh!
no, yeah, Boxing Day actually was almost an apt word for it one year here, but
Let me just Sunday the 27th.
I don't understand how people get so upset about get so worked up over deals. And I'm a deal hunter, but still.
Yeah. Alrighty, I edited that and have it set for 11:45 release. But yeah, and then folks, definitely tune into the to that tweet for the next one because you'll see a pretty decent looking thumbnail for that one. And stay tuned for next week as we wrap up the Versus streams. Angry Vader recommended this one, so he, possibly Lethal Lightning, Rosetta, Allen, and Mongo, I think, is back for that one. It's going to be the Battle of the Billionaires. Tony Stark, Iron Man versus Batman, Bruce Wayne. Swindle will get you a good deal for the right amount of energon. Yes, I remember Swindle. When I saw the newer version of Transformers, when I think it was early 20s, where I saw them, where they had the 3 Transformers turn into a sword, 3 of them turn into a shield, and 3 of them turn into a Requiem blaster. When I heard about Swindle, it's like that, which was Starscream's little mini con. I liked Swindle. He was a pretty cool one. And also, freaking Starscream went out like a champ, man. But Unicron fried his ass, too.
Yeah, for the Battle of the Billionaires, my money's on Bruce. Just saying.
On Batman? Yeah.
Absolutely. Never bet against Batman. Yes, never bet against Batman.
Exactly. So definitely tune in for that one. That one will be next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. And Fusion, are you back yet?
No.
Whips out. Oh my God, to see what he whips out next. I won't be whipping out anything next that time. I think I showed off my trident a little, or enough for tonight. And I hope I made Lethal indeed very jealous. But anyway, just before we go, 24/7, you back? Nope, he's still walking. So we do got to wrap this up, folks. But thank you all.
Sub to 24/7.
Yes, sub to 24/7 Fusion Media. He is truly a great channel. And this has been Orange Hat Reviews. and panel. And before I go, take it easy, folks, and stay